BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season is in full swing, and we're into the home stretch for NBA and NHL playoffs. And there's more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from the MLB, NHL, and UFC. And in between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino. All the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino action. So BetOnline, the game starts here. I want to start this off hot. I got a DM.
Right.
Okay. I want to hear what you played. I'm going to read you this DM, Cody. You tell me what the course of action should be here. Okay. Hi, Glenn. This is from John Paz. Okay. Hi, Glenn. Hope all is well. Been trying to get in touch with DJF, and he's ghosting me. Feeney, DJF.
Oh, okay.
And he's ghosting me. I would like to confront him on the show and see what his deal is. Also, Philly pizza sucks. I'm from Asbury Park, New Jersey. We have the best pizza in the world. Thanks. That's from Paz. So I text him back and said, probably sleeping. And he says, if I have to go down to Delco and wake him up, I will. Joe, are you willing? He wants to confront you. Are you willing to bring Paz on here quickly to confront you on why you're ghosting him?
Yeah, but I mean, there's really nothing to say. It started as.
Well, let's bring him on then real quick.
Okay.
Why don't you hook him up and tell him to come on?
I'm not
if he's
talking
got something, if he's got some burial for you, being
Oh, you're not talking to him? What, are you mad at him too?
No.
Well, Tony, would you agree that if somebody's willing to come and bury Joe, that we should let them on? Yeah,
of course. Or you.
All right, let's let him on. Also, too, while we're waiting here, but I want to play this clip for you because people like our Meltzer said what clips when I play them.
Right.
You got to hear this one, Dave's take. Bro, just play this. This is absolutely unbelievable. I can't believe he said this.
Right.
Okay, this is both of those, right?
I don't remember if you were there or not. Somebody was talking to me over this weekend, and they were at a lot of the shows at the Palms, right? And they said that the one thing when they would listen to people is just how uncool and negative everybody was on AEW. And it's like, the thing is like, they put on like these great TV shows and great matches of late, but it's just, and I go like, what do you mean? It's like, it's just uncool. Tony's uncool. Triple H is cool. You know what I mean? And it's like, man, that's, and in a big sense, I've kind of said that same thing for months, but I don't think I really expressed it well sometimes. And when I was told that, it was kind of like, yeah, that's kind of the thing. WWE is just cool. And we're in a society where, whether it's music or whether it's movies or whether it's anything, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, when you're uncool, man, you're just uncool, like there's TV stations that are uncool. It doesn't matter how good a job they do and what their programming is. Those stations are uncool. There's TV stations that are cooler and they do better, and WWE is very cool right now. AEW can't do what they did. They can't do 60,000 people 2 straight nights. They can't do it. And so therefore they're secondary, and it's like, it doesn't matter. People say the booking this, the booking that, ain't the booking. It just became uncool because enough people told you for a long enough time that they're a money pit and it's a spoiled, rich kid and blah, 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 and all that. And, and that just makes it uncool.
You heard that last part, right? Please, yeah.
It just became uncool because enough people told you for a long enough time that they're a money pit and it's a spoiled, rich kid and blah, 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 and all that. And, and that just makes it uncool. And then the guys all want to really be in WWE, which, there are obviously people there who do want to be in WWE, and there's obviously people who absolutely don't want to be in WWE. And there's people who just want to, and there's also people there who just want to make the most money, and they can make more money in AEW, so they want to be in AEW because that's specifically the goal, is to make the most money with the least amount of travel dates. And if you're the right person, you can do that in AEW. So, but yeah, that were you there? Were you there for that conversation?
No, I was not.
Okay, I didn't remember, but yeah, it was just something people had brought up to me, which it's something that I knew, but when someone else tells you it, and someone's going, I'm just listening to people in the audience. And, and it's kind of going like, how do you overcome that? And it's like, it's the hardest question in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because what do you do to overcome it? It's just like, do you put a new guy as the face of the company? Do you pretend to sell the company? I don't, it's like, no one will buy that anyway. And it's a problem that they're going to have.
That was the question that Jamie had sent into us. So I was going to ask it, and then you just basically.
Do you think that AEW became uncool because enough of people, like we're like, I guess like the podcast or something we're talking about? Because like if you look on the Twitter, if you look at the comments, all right, of Dave's what Dave said, people are saying like, yeah, it's like people are so negative, and like like that's what's made like literally that AEW is cool. By the way, you're
Oh yeah,
you're muted. By the way, Conan.
I didn't see you speaking.
Before I lose my train of thought, let me just say this because I was thinking of my answer while I was listening to it. Here's a couple things. You've got to remember, Dave's about 65.
Right.
He doesn't know what cool is, okay?
Right.
He's a great writer. He was kind of a mentor of mine because I used to read The Observer because I was kind of I didn't know what the fuck was going on when I broke into the business. And he showed me, and so he's good at stuff like that. But, for example, I used to be able to tell you all the top songs, all the artists. I don't anymore, but I do hear enough music in the dressing room from young guys where I'll go, what is that called? Or when they said that no cap thing, I was like, what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? So I'm a little bit more with my pulse on the thing. How would he know what's cool? He's not cool,
Right.
And the thing is that the fan base is much more sophisticated nowadays, right? And not everybody's a hardcore, but all the hardcore know that he's a geek,
Right.
that it's a hobby, that it is a money pit, that he's a money mark, right? So the hardcores already know that. Then when a casual fan sees their show, they're probably thinking, because, whether you grew up with WWE or maybe WCW back in the day, you're going, what is this? Because of the production, the camera angles, the abrupt breakaways, the, silly matches, the people.
I'll always say this.
People that you don't even know who they are on the show.
Not even that.
And they don't even tell you who they are.
Dude, the lack of coolness comes from the first and foremost.
Fans.
There's some of their top stars do not show up for work, dressed for work.
Right.
I mean, like, what are you going to do? Like, you're going to say it's cool when Kenny Omega comes out there with the sleeveless shirt, shorts, and sneakers on with no socks. I'm like,
right, like that's cool. That's
the guy's going there
and
like
I guarantee you, Kenny. And I have to say this disclaimer almost always, who I love, okay? He dresses like that for real, so he probably just, he never has to change. But, bro, wear a dress-up shirt, wear some jeans, at least a little blazer. Would that hurt you?
Things change real quick.
You're wondering why it's not cool. It's like, you guys don't treat it as anything cool. You're not dressed cool. You're not like, it's like the fans can see this.
Yeah.
This is not anything the podcasters are saying. They look at the show and they see guys who come out dressed like fans. That's not cool. That doesn't. So look at Seth Rollins. You're coming out wearing $2,000 worth of clothes every week and stuff. And like Nick Aldis is out there in a nice $1,500 suit. And so, like everybody on that show. Punk is the only one that doesn't really dress up, but that's like his gimmick.
Yeah.
He's like the anti thing. And Sami Zayn kind of doesn't really dress up because that's like his gimmick. But everybody else said, like, when they have a chance to present themselves, they try to look cool. It's like this is not anything like that. That the fans are literally being told it's not cool. Okay, they can see this with their own two eyes, right? And we just point this out, and if they think that us pointing that out is what's causing fans to not watch the show and change the channel, that's the most ludicrous.
Bro, but you also got to remember that Dave is a friend of Tony. He goes, well, I always thought that they were cooler, but I didn't know how to express it. Well, you should have. Now don't say that you think it's cool because somebody told you. It's been cool for a while.
Right. So now,
what were you going to say, Joe? Wait a minute, because Joe's
go ahead, Delta.
The things change and times change, and when they started, when they were doing the Bullet Club and then all out, in the beginnings of AEW, Disco, I was saying this before we came on. Everybody was really starving for an alternative. And at the time, the laid-back nature of the Bucks and Kenny was cool. It was different. It wasn't as stuffed shirt as WWE kind of thing, right? But times have changed, and now when people see it, they see it as you're not dressing up for TV. It's casual, you know, in a bad way. And as far as people like overhearing, oh, like AEW is not cool. When I worked in this warehouse, and I was like the wrestling fan there, and the guys I worked with were fans too, but they knew I had all the nerds, right? So they would ask questions, and casual fans know a lot less than you think. Like I would get questions like, man, Hunter and Stephanie, that's not a real marriage, right? Or is Kane really to Undertaker's brother? Casual fans.
Yeah, I do believe that because I've talked to casual fans and they're clueless. Like they don't know.
Right. Yeah, they watch briefly when the show's really good.
Right,
they turn it on and watch it for 6 to 8 weeks when it's hot.
Yeah, they're not reading wrestling sites like that yet.
But what I mean is, it's likely that a casual fan sitting in the crowd with an AEW shirt on and a smart fan behind him goes, that show sucks, man. And here, I'm going to tell you about Tony. This is why it sucks. Did you hear what they did to Punk, too? And he's just a daddy's boy. I think word of mouth did hurt AEW. The presentation aside.
The product also hurts AEW.
I cannot agree with that. I cannot agree with that, okay? This is literally the person at home that has the opportunity to watch a show or not when it's on. And if they're watching something else or not watching the show, I guarantee you nothing's computing in their head thinking like, you know what, Disco said that they don't have production meetings and the shows, there's awkward house. None of that is factoring in. Like everybody's watching that show. If the content is good enough to make you watch next week, that is how professional wrestling has judged a product for years and years and years and years and years throughout history. Is if your ratings are good, you're probably delivering good product and your numbers are up and your houses are up and your merchandise is up, right? Mm-hmm. So when the number starts going down, the one thing that AEW is doing, instead of being reflective and like looking at that going, hey, what are we doing wrong here? They're going, well, we're doing great shows and having great matches. Why is nobody watching our show? Oh, it must be some other reason. It's like, guys, first off, your shows are not great. If they were great, more people would be watching the shows, period. That's a simplistic formula that's been true throughout the history of professional wrestling. If the matches were great, people would not be changing the channel when the matches are on. That's a tried and true formula throughout history.
And it's like I do think you have a point, Joe.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm not saying.
But I just think at the end of the day, it's much more than a fan behind him going, hey, his dad owns a company. They're watching the product and they're going and comparing it to WWE, and hopefully they'll be comparing it to the Lucha show we do soon. And they're going, bro, this is much funner, cooler, quicker, better produced. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I always say, it looks like the problem with Tony is he's super sensitive. If you criticize him, he takes it personal. But bro, it's true. The product's not cool. I can't see, Meltzer, which is the original conversation. Yeah. He doesn't know what's cool, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
He's not cool.
Right. Well, let me ask you this. Do you think that they're having great TV shows and great matches?
Who?
AEW.
Better than before.
Okay, well then how come the numbers are trending down then? That's my
know.
question. Because guys,
you can't tell me TV hasn't gotten a little bit better. At least right now.
Okay.
Right now, you and me are interested in the Hurt business.
Correct.
Okay, wait. We're interested in the
MJF and the Hangman.
Right.
Hangman
the Hangman
Swerve,
thing.
MJF, MJF and Lashley. And Christian.
Wait a minute. Right. And we like Christian. Right.
Right.
I don't know if you do, but I like Tony Storm.
Okay. Yeah.
I like to see Will Ospreay wrestle. And bottom line.
Okay, I could skip it.
I don't like his character, but anyways, so there's things I like.
Right. It's right.
Okay, but the show in its totality to me is not good.
Correct, because the thing is every week, okay, as a wrestling fan, the more things you're interested in of what's happening in the show, the more urgency you're going to see is like, hey, when's the show on? I can't wait for the show to be on, right? Bro, AEW over the course of time, I find myself like, I forgot AEW is on tonight. That's the type of vibe I get from that show because there's not enough things on that show to keep me interested. You know, and like I said, it's just that's the way that show should be judged. Is the interest level of the fan base, not whether Dave Meltzer says they're having great matches and great television. It's like, guys, they're not.
Look, at the end of the day, we got to remember, Dave's like a lot of people in our business. He has followers, and they're going to listen to his narrative. What did he even say, Joe? Because I like how Joe tries to talk when I'm done, because he goes, maybe I'll get my, but once you start, there's no way, Joe. And I saw you try to get in there once. Go ahead.
As a fan, because you said, you know, are they putting on good shows? Or are they putting on good matches? I know that AEW is going to put on good matches on a weekly basis, especially on pay-per-views. But that's not enough for me anymore. Just because you have a 5-star match with 7, 8 false finishes, if it has no meaning, I'm not. And you know.
But Joe, let me just say,
Joe,
let me just say this.
Yeah,
bro, WWE's changed. All their matches are good now.
Sure. Right.
Right.
But they have meaning too, and the stories progress.
Right.
If there's a Dominic match, you're going to see Finn come out, or Damian, or whoever he's working with. There's always a progression in 9 out of 10 matches, and in AEW, I just don't see that that's the case. And it's tough to. I'm not watching for just matches. If I want to watch just matches, I would have watched all the Ring of Honor back in the day. I would have been a PWG fan, and I wasn't. You know, and that's what their TV represents to me now. Right.
Well, my point, because this is my perspective, okay. And you know, this is my opinion. I'm not. You know, I think my perspective is correct here. Okay, I just think that there is a group of fans, and I'll call them that they're fetish fans. Okay, that if you look at AEW wrestling, it's kind of like a fetish. Okay,
what's your fetish?
My fetish?
Yes.
No, I don't have a fetish. Okay, but my thing is you have a group of fans that are invested in these matches are great. Okay. But bro, you get outside these group of fans, not a lot of the fans think these matches are great. I'm one of them because a lot of them look very repetitive, all offense, a million finishes, kickouts left and right.
That's a valid statement, but you also got to remember there's a lot of young fans that don't know as much as you, and they're still entertained by that.
Perfect example. Look, AEW is like Jason Williams.
Right.
Okay. Now, Jason Williams was very flashy and had highlight reel, like crazy, right? But
you mean White Chocolate?
White Chocolate.
White Chocolate, correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which you thought his name was White Thunder, but go ahead.
Wait, for some reason, yeah, White Chocolate, okay? But the thing was, the guy only averaged like 10 points and 8 assists.
Yeah.
Okay, but he was very flashy. And you say, wow, that's the best point guard in the league. It's like, wait a second. James Harden is averaging 22 points and 13 assists. You know, it's like,
sometimes that's how they like flash, and and they were seeing it from a white boy.
Yeah. Right. But I'm saying is that's the mindset of the AEW fans. You have something that you like, and it is entertaining, but it's just like the metrics do not resonate to a larger group of a larger fan base.
Bro, listen
too much of the indie
listen
stuff.
to this about Jason Williams. I think he went to school and played. Oh no, they played on the same basketball team.
Who?
Guess who he played with?
Who?
I'll give you the state and then you'll know. West Virginia.
West Virginia?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Randy Moss.
Randy Moss. Oh wow, that's right. That's right. Jason Williams and Randy Moss were high school teammates. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I would love to see tape. Right? I would love to see tape of one of their. I'm sure it exists somewhere. But yeah, I think. Go ahead.
Just an example, real quick. Like about 8, 9 years ago, when I was way more into it, and I was just about to start this show. Actually, I was going to shows. I saw the Young Bucks against Kazarian and Daniels at a Ring of Honor match. A couple weeks later, I saw the Young Bucks against the Hardys for Dreamers promotion. I still say it's 2 of the best tag matches I've ever seen live, probably ever overall. They were fantastic. That's when the Bucks were at their height. But it's the law of diminishing returns, right? Now I won't go out of my way to watch a Young Bucks match because what was great then, I've now seen 50 times. And it's, like you said, Konnan, repetitive. I know what I'm going to see in a Bucks match, and I've seen it now. I've seen it as many times as I need to.
But new fans haven't.
Right. You know what it's like? It's like going to the park every day and riding the 7 roller coasters. Yeah. Going home and then go back the next day and ride the 7 roller coasters. It's like it's fun, but it's like, dude, we're doing the same thing every day here, right?
Or are you going
to? You mean like Matt Cardona? Nothing.
Or are you going to?
He's always a Disney lad, right?
Right. All right, so that's been a good little discussion.
Yo, what's up? I just want to thank you guys for watching this clip. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And join our YouTube membership for hours and hours of exclusive, unedited, uncensored content. And being a member will help you get involved in our upcoming live streams. Thank you for your support. Thank you for riding with us. I know you got a lot of other podcast choices, be it wrestling or other ones. And thank you for picking us. Boom.